Dak obviously is the elephant in the room. Everyone knows it. We've just got to keep grinding. Jerry has always told me, as a mentor of mine, as the money gets bigger, the deals get harder. Obviously, when we're talking about Dak, it's as big as it gets in the NFL. So it's got to be right for Dak, and it's got to be right for us. It's a zero-sum game for Jerry and I. We're just dividing up cap space. Whatever we do here is just a matter of how much we want to allocate to one player. This is a piece of a conversation that we've been having a lot here lately. And Damien Woody, I know you were watching and reacting on Twitter as we were having this conversation yesterday. The notion of taking that much money and allocating it to any one position, even the quarterback position, do you have concerns about it?
No, I mean, as a player, that's not my concern. My concern as a player is to do my job and do it to the best of my ability. Go out there and earn what I feel like was what I've earned as far as compensation is concerned. It's the team's job to figure out the cap, procure talent, and develop that talent. Greeny, like I heard the conversation yesterday about the percentage of cap, but as a player, that's not my responsibility. If I choose to take a lesser deal, then that's a choice that I make. But if I'm out here doing the best that I can, why shouldn't I ask for a contract that's equal to what I should be making? That just makes no sense to me.
Well, let me make sure that we're having one conversation here. No one, and certainly not I, am suggesting that Dak Prescott or anyone shouldn't ask for whatever it is they want. But at the end of the day, you're worth what someone is willing to pay you. So put yourself, I totally understand that you have a player's mentality because you're a player, but put yourself on the other side. If you were the person divvying up this salary cap, as Stephen Jones is talking about, would you give all that money to a quarterback knowing that you are on some level robbing from Peter to pay Paul?
Well, I think the Dallas Cowboys, quite honestly, haven't paid Dak the type of money that Dak wants to pay because they don't believe that he's that type of player. I don't think the Cowboys think that Dak Prescott is a top 5 type quarterback, a quarterback that can put a franchise on his back. If they believe that, they would have been paid Dak Prescott last year. Okay, so listen, Dak Prescott has gotten better and better every year. He feels like he deserves a certain amount of money. The Dallas Cowboys quite clearly feels the opposite. And I think they just don't feel like Dak Prescott, in their minds, is that elite quarterback that we see from some of these other guys.
Now, I have a quarterback ready to join this conversation, and it's Tim Hasselbeck. We say good morning to Tim as he gets up with us here. And, Tim, we were going through some notes yesterday, and you were suggesting that maybe the place the Cowboys already got this all wrong was a long time ago. How does that make sense?
Well, when you look at it, they waited till Dak Prescott had his best season and then had leverage because his contract was expiring to redo this deal. How about you try to redo the deal after year 3, much like you've seen with other quarterbacks? And Dak Prescott at that point had never thrown more than 23 touchdowns, had never thrown for 4,000 yards. Try to do the deal then when he only had, $2.75 million in his pocket in terms of career earnings, rather than waiting, being up against the franchise tag. And, oh, by the way, Dak just goes on and, throws 30 touchdowns and for nearly 5,000 yards. So by waiting, they screwed it up. And the longer they wait, they could screw it up even more, because if they keep waiting and Deshaun Watson gets a deal done or Patrick Mahomes gets a deal done, that number's only going to go up. The reality is Dak is going to get 4 years, $150 million. If it's a 5-year deal, it could be close to $190 million. Those are going to be the numbers for Dak Prescott, and they're more than they would have been had they done a deal prior to last season.
Yeah, and to be clear, let's remember, he was in the same draft class as Jared Goff, whose deal has been redone, Carson Wentz, whose deal has been redone. Those teams didn't wait. They got the contracts done. Let me talk to my former Cowboy here, and that's Bobby Carpenter, because the Cowboys, what further makes this confusing is that they've chosen to pay so many other people. They had a lot of people waiting in line, and they left the quarterback for last.
Yeah, they did make him wait for last. And I think, like Tim's point, they thought that maybe he would play himself out of one of those elite high-level deals. And unfortunately for Dallas, or even fortunately, he played himself into it at a high level. And it's funny that Tim brings up the 4th and 5th year, because some of the things that I've heard is that's been one of the sticking points is Dak wants to get another bite at the apple. He wants to get it sooner than later because he's still a young guy. And after the new TV deals are done, and after you have Deshaun Watson or Pat Mahomes get a deal, and these things keep elevating so that he's not locked into something for 5 or 6 years, he has more flexibility on 3 or 4 to potentially come back and earn that money up on the back end of it.
And so, Tim, let me come back to you here as the quarterback, not only the former player, but one who analyzes the position as closely as you do. We've been doing these top 5 lists here, and I don't even want to start another argument over that. In your mind, however you define top-level quarterback, elite quarterback, is Dak Prescott one of them?
Look, I'm not sure that he's a top 10 quarterback. Maybe he sneaks in there, but that doesn't mean he doesn't kind of reset the quarterback market. I mean, part of this is just leverage and timing. There are plenty of people that don't believe that Kirk Cousins should be making what he's made, over the past 4 years. But the reality is when you kind of play your best in contract year situations, then you get paid sometimes better than the player you actually are. So can they win a Super Bowl with him? Yeah, I believe that they can. But part of this is just timing when you look at the money. And so, listen, we're on here with a guy who understands timing, and that's Damien Woody. Like, the reality is that you play to the end of that deal, you go ahead and swing the hammer and make a lot of money.
That's what it feels like. D. Wood, final word. Do you think they're going to get this thing done with Dak?
Yeah, I think, listen, there's nothing like a deadline to spur action. I think with the Cowboys, you got a new coach, new program, new system. You got to get your quarterback in there.
Yeah, keep an eye on July 15th. That's the date by which it has to get done. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.